Hey there, Corporate Misfits. Brittany Darrington here, and welcome to episode 37 of the Corporate Misfit podcast. Today's Friday feature, we are chatting with Los Angeles native Natalia Crawford. Natalia is a business and online marketing coach who helps women launch and scale profitable online businesses that are designed around their dream life. She is a lover of cheesy jokes. She is the best guacamole maker you'll ever meet and loves finding ways to give back and make a difference in the world. Get ready to hear how Natalia left that 9 to 5 to build her empire, and get ready to be inspired to do more of what you love. Now, if you are looking to watch this video, we do have this on YouTube in addition to this podcast. So make sure you check us out at I Am Brittany Darrington, where you can see this actual video of our interview. Let's go ahead and dive right in.
You're listening to the Corporate Misfit podcast with Brittany Darrington, where female entrepreneurs can get powerful tips and advice on how to start, launch, and grow their business.
I am so excited to have you, Natalia, on the Corporate Misfit podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Now, going from the 9 to 5 and going into being a marketing business coach and really helping people to make an impact and a profit, how did you, first off, get started doing what you do today?
Yeah, so I actually got started because I was working my 9 to 5 and I started a business on the side. It was something where I kind of knew, like, eventually I want to become a full-time entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So I started a blog and I wanted to learn how to really grow my blog and how to grow my online presence. And so I kind of started teaching myself on the side how to start a business, how to grow my presence online, how to get leads, how to get more views. And so it was something that I actually learned in the process of building my business. And then that business eventually became a print magazine for women, and I ended up selling that business. So I was able to successfully grow it, really just kind of by learning on the side, through my side hustle while working my corporate job. So I kind of just learned hands-on through my own business and, just kind of realized that it was something that a lot of women needed help with. And they were trying to figure out, how do I grow my business online? How do I get more views? And how do I show up and create content that converts clients? And so it's something that I became really passionate about, mentoring other women, because for me it was a very lonely journey. And I remember wondering, like, do I know what I'm doing? Like, should I really be doing this? Like, and just feeling alone. And so for me it became something where I was like, I don't want anyone else to feel that way. I want people to feel supported, and I want women to feel like they can accomplish what they want to accomplish, and also not make all of the mistakes that I made to learn. And so for me, I'm able to just kind of take all of my expertise that I learned and just kind of package it and help someone else so that they can succeed faster.
Oh, I love that, because thinking about when so many of us started our own business, or if we're in the beginning stages right now of getting our business up and going, there are so many steps, so many things to do. And you're kind of like, where the heck do I start? How do I do this? Now, Natalia, how did you know, okay, I have this business going, it's up and, things are happening while it's a side thing. How did you know, okay, now it's time for me to leave my 9 to 5 and go into this thing full time?
Yeah, I feel like that's $1 million question, because I remember being in my corporate job. And so in corporate, like, I did traditional marketing. So I already had a marketing background, which was really helpful. But I think kind of the crossroads that I found myself at was that I loved doing marketing, but I hated the corporate environment. Like, the culture, specifically where I was very unhealthy. And it actually led me to deal with a lot of personal health issues, just like due to stress and anxiety and, expectations. And so that was the reason why I knew I didn't want to stay in that environment. And so the funny thing is that I had created my plan, like, I had this game plan of, like, I need to have this many clients and I need to have this much money and it have to be this way in order for me to leave. But really what happened was that I got to the point in my health where I actually was not doing well. I'd been at the doctor's office multiple times. And so I kind of had to quit unexpectedly just because of my health. And when I quit, I knew like I can either make my business work or I go get another job and like risk getting back into that unhealthy environment and dealing with these health issues. And so I kind of quit unexpectedly. I didn't have my whole game plan, where I thought I wanted to be with clients and with finances. And so it was something where I just kind of made a leap of faith. And for me, it worked. I don't normally like recommend just everyone just go quit your job, and like try to make your business work.
Go figure it out.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't recommend that. And I think I did kind of have that in the back of my mind of like, well, I'll go get a job if I need to. I didn't have this huge runway of like, I can spend months and months and months trying to make this work. Like I needed to make it work as soon as possible. And I think that for me, that ended up working really well with just knowing exactly what to focus on. And that was get clients as soon as possible.
I love that, because a lot of people don't focus on the client aspect first. They focus more on creating the website, the branding.
Yeah.
My logo has to be perfect. And they forget to focus on how are you going to generate sales? How are you going to get clients? How are you going to make money? Because if you don't have that, I don't care how pretty your website is, how pretty your logo is, you don't have a profitable business and it's going to shut down.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I always teach my clients. I'm like, you need to have a profitable business before you have a pretty business, because if you have a profitable business, then you have the finances to build a pretty business as well. Like you can have both, but the profitable part is really what's important and foundational to having a successful business.
Absolutely. Now I want to back up just a little, because I know you touched on, having to leave your job because of health reasons and the anxiety and the things that came along with stress and whatnot. What's kind of the work schedule for you now, and how are you seeing a difference, if any, in your health by being an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. So I definitely work a lot less than I did at my corporate job. And I think a big part of that was that, I was working full time in corporate, and then I was also working on my business. So, I'm working this 40+ hour job, coming home, working on my business evenings and weekends. And I was just like nonstop all the time working. And so I think overall that wasn't healthy for me. And I think that it really comes down to knowing yourself and how much you can handle. And I think we see others and we think, oh, they work this much, I need to work as much as they do, or I need to, push myself as hard as that person does. And I think it is about pushing ourselves, but I don't think it has to be something where it's not balanced for you. And I think that looks different for everyone. So, for me, like I maybe work 20 hours a week. Like I don't really work on Fridays. Like I take weekends off, but it is definitely something that I love to do. So every now and then I'm like, oh, I have this fun project I want to work on Saturday morning, or, work late today because I'm really into what I'm doing. So it's very flexible and open to my energy and how I'm feeling. And, for example, early this week I was sick, so I was able to take some time off, and it didn't mess with my business. I didn't have to take sick days. I didn't have to call in and like use my vacation time, So like for me, that's the big difference, is that like I do have this space that I need to get better and to be healthy and to work as much as I feel like I energetically can handle. So I'm definitely in a much better place now.
I love that you even shared and touched on the health side, because I think so many people have turned entrepreneurship into hustle grind only, and it's really not healthy and it's really not sustainable in my eyes,
Yeah. And I think that we need to work hard to build our business, but I don't think that we need to wear ourselves out. And really my focus and what I teach my clients is that I believe in building a profitable business that's designed around your dream life. And so it's really focusing on both things. It's, you started this business because you probably wanted freedom and flexibility, and maybe you wanted to travel and grow your finances and spend more time with family and do things you enjoy. And I think that people go into business and they forget about all of those things, and they end up building a business they don't enjoy. And so I often say, don't leave a job you hate to build a business you hate. Like you get to control that. You get to decide what you want your business and your life to look like. So really owning that and stepping into the role of CEO in your business and in your life, and deciding this is what I want it to be, can be really empowering.
I love this because I am queen on teaching. Don't leave your 9 to 5 to build your business prison. Like, why
Hmm.
would you ever escape the 9 to 5 to build a business prison? Because
Yeah.
you get to design it. And if you are coming out of the corporate world and you're designing what you don't like, well, just like you got fed up in the corporate world, you're going to get fed up in your business. And
Yeah.
so it's important that you design that life for yourself. Now, what did
Yeah.
you do once you left your 9 to 5 and you were focusing kind of just getting back on track with your health? Now, how did you decide how you were going to design your life and your business?
Yeah, so it was definitely through trial and error.
Mhm.
Because initially, I think we get so used to always being told what to do, and I think that what happens is that we go from being an employee and we go into our business that way. So we try to run our business with an employee mindset. All of a sudden, there's no one telling you what to do. And so I think that we don't know how to manage our time. We don't know how to manage our tasks, our priorities. And so through trial and error, I kind of had to figure out, okay, I need to manage myself. I need to plan out my day. I need to decide what the priorities are. I need to set goals, like all of the things that I think entrepreneurs overlook, that are really important. Because you have to think about, if I were the CEO of a company, what would I be doing?
Mhm.
Would I just kind of be sitting there on Facebook all day, not really getting much done? Or would I be setting goals, and would I be very strategic and would I map out my day? And I think kind of knowing how to step into that. And for me, what was really helpful was just kind of planning out my days ahead of time and prioritizing and having tasks, like really creating a schedule that
Mhm.
was consistent and that prioritized, making sales, generating an income was really important, because then in a way it was kind of like I was managing myself, and then I kind of now just show up and I have my set tasks that I do every day and I know what I need to work on. And there's no wasted time. And I think because of that, I'm also able to have more time to
More free
myself
time.
because I'm not, exactly. Yeah. I'm not just like sitting there wasting time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because when most of us leave our job, like you said,
Mhm.
we're used to being told what to do. And then on top of that, we're used to having, depending on what size company you're working for, but we're used to having a team of people helping us to actually get our job done.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when people leave the 9 to 5, I always want them to think about when you leave, remember you are the accountant, you are the
Mhm.
customer service, you are the salesperson, you're the marketing
Yeah.
person, you're the graphic person, especially in the very beginning until you start that outsourcing process, because you don't have the whole team behind you to make it happen and you just show up and do your one task. So
Yeah.
taking that time to really identify, like, what do I need to accomplish today? Maybe you're doing time blocking like what you're doing, and assigning yourself like, this is what I'm going to accomplish during this time of the day. It really helps you to get so much further along.
Like, I'm a big believer in flexibility in your
Mhm.
structure. So in the sense of like, I think some people get caught up in thinking I have to wake up early every day and I have to be at my desk from 9 to 5. And it's like, no, if you're more of a night owl,
Mhm.
the whole point of being an entrepreneur is doing what works for you. So maybe your structure looks like working on the evenings and sleeping in, and that's fine. You get to decide that. And so I think that it's finding what works for you. Like, I'm a morning person, so waking up early, doing my creative work in the morning, and then my admin work in the afternoon, like that's what works for me. So that's the structure that I've created. And so I think it's finding what's going to work for you and then
Mhm.
creating the structure around that.
I completely agree. Did
Mhm.
you feel like you had to, and I know you probably had to because of the situation that you were in when you left your 9 to 5, but did you take some time to just do a major corporate detox?
Mm. I actually did not, just because I think, especially at that time, like we really relied on both mine and my partner's income. And so I think
Mhm.
that we needed my income. It was either like I go get another job or I make my business work. And so I didn't really have that space necessarily, but I think that just kind of stepping out of it was helpful and creating that flexibility in my new schedule and just kind of slowing down with how fast paced everything was before.
Mhm.
And I think that I was very fortunate in that I was able to get clients and build that up pretty quickly. So I was able to create that ideal schedule really fast and just kind of, take naps in the middle of the day and like not have to work all the time. And so I think in a way it was more of like a slowing down long-term detox, if that makes sense.
I love that. Yeah. And I get that. Some people are unable to go into that break or that period of time or whatever it may be to do that detox. But like you said, giving yourself that time to slowly detox and kind of figuring out what works best for you is so healthy, because if you come out of the corporate world and you go into starting your business like boom, 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 going to work, 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 then eventually you're going to find yourself burnt out, maybe like you were when you were at your business with the corporate world. So taking that time to really develop that is important. Now, did you have the support that you needed when you decided, okay, instead of me going to go find a 9 to 5, I'm going to go into my own business? Did you have support from others?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I did have the support from my husband. And then I think something else that I really credit my success to was that when I quit, I decided to also invest in a business coach.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why I made that decision was because I had spent the past 2 years um, trying to build my business while working my corporate job. And so I knew, okay, I need help. I need guidance. I need someone who has done this before to kind of tell me how to do this because I have to make this work now. And so it was an investment that I decided to make of having somebody help me to get results more quickly. And it was an investment because I wasn't really making money in my business at that point to be able to pay for it. But I decided that I believed in myself and that I believed in my dream. And so I made the investment and I ended up joining a mastermind that had also coaching. And for me, just having that like sisterhood and that mentorship really was a game changer for me. And I think having support is really key in being able to accomplish your goals and your business dreams.
See, I think that's what so many people forget to think about when they're leaving and starting their business. Having that community, if that's a mastermind, a business coach, or just that community of individuals who get you, who understand you. Now, when you decided to start your business and start looking for customers, how did you know who your ideal customer was, or what are some steps you took to discover who that individual would be?
Yeah, so even though my original business was a blog, I when I left my corporate job and I knew I needed to get clients right away, I kind of changed gears and I kind of said, okay, I know that I can do digital marketing really well. And I saw how many people were struggling with social media, specifically business owners, and they just really did not get social media. They didn't understand how to find their clients, how to convert them. And so what I did is I decided to create social media management packages where I would just kind of come in and like manage your social media for you. That would be your content, your designs, your like engagement, and really the growth and conversion strategy behind it all. And so I created that package. And from the beginning, like I didn't necessarily say like this is who I want to be working with. I kind of just offered it to anyone that was looking for that specific service because it kind of just came down to anyone who needs help with their social media. And so I was like, anyone that needs that, I need work.
Sure.
So I can help you. Yeah. And I kind of think that what helped me was that I didn't get caught up in all of these things that like I had to do before I could get a client. It was just kind of like, I need to go get the client, and through that, I was able to learn and really figure out like, okay, here's who I enjoy working with, here's who I don't enjoy working with. But I think because it was just kind of like, okay, I have this package, like who needs help with it? I was able to just kind of go out and get the clients and make it happen.
I love that. And I love that you are so focused on like, well, especially when you first got started, I need to make a sale. I need to make a sale because I think when people are starting business and they're not focused on how they're going to generate the sale, I mean, it is great to know all the other pieces and parts, but just knowing how you're going to get yourself out there is so important because you won't be doing it long.
Yeah.
Now, when you decided to go ahead and reach out to these customers and go ahead and put your packages in front of them, did you use a social media platform or did you use a special marketing platform to help you get in front of these individuals?
Yeah, so I specifically used Facebook groups at that time because that's where I was seeing a lot of women post and just kind of say like, and really a lot of businesses just kind of posting and saying, we need help with social media. Does anyone offer this? And that's, I would just kind of jump on that and say like, I offer the service, let's talk on the phone. And what's really funny to me is that at that time, like I didn't have a website for this service that I was offering. I didn't have an email list. I didn't even have a social media presence, and I'm selling social media management services, but it was just very focused on like, I need clients. And so all I had was this service that I was offering. I would reach out to people that were asking for it. I'd get them on the phone and I'd convert them. And that was just what I was doing. And so I always tell people that because I want to encourage them that you can go get a client right now. Like you don't have to have the perfect website or this, specific size email list or this huge social media presence. Like you can literally just go get clients right now because that's what I did. I didn't have any of those things in place and I converted people. And so I think that, it's just about staying focused and knowing like what your goal is. And so I was doing
Love
Facebook
that.
groups.
I
Yeah.
love that because again, like you said, you didn't have the email list, you didn't have the website up yet, you didn't have all these things. That can be an excuse and excuse and almost like a roadblock for a lot of people. Oh, I
Mhm.
cannot get my business going until this is perfect. And that can
Mhm.
hold someone back from just
Yeah.
getting the business up and going,
Yeah, exactly. And I did obviously like end up getting those things because I do think they're important. And like as an online marketer, like I teach people how to build their presence, their email
Yes.
list, create their website. And so I think it is important. And I think that you need to have that as a business. I just don't like to see people get stuck on it
Hmm.
in order to build their business.
Absolutely. And I love your website, by the way. It looks gorgeous.
Thank you.
So, once you decided like, okay, you're working with this person, I'm going to go out and find these individuals to work with them. How
Mhm.
did you kind of narrow down after you
Mhm.
started working with people for a while? How did you narrow down who you work with now today?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started, because so now I'm doing coaching, which is my third business. And that's kind of where I've really, found my passion. And I think it really came from, when I kind of going back to when I started that first business and just feeling so alone on my journey and feeling like I didn't know what I was doing and needing guidance. And then when I invested in that coach and that mastermind, that just really was a game changer for me. And looking back, I realized like, wow, I should have done this 2 years ago. Like I shouldn't have waited 2 years to do that. And I think that really what it came down to was me looking back and saying like, I never want anyone to feel the way that I felt
Mm.
when I started my business, and just like confused and not really knowing what to do or what to focus on. And so now I have specifically narrowed it down to working with women who want to start a business. So I really work with women who are in the very beginning stages. So, most coaches out there don't like to work with women that are just getting started. They don't like to work with what they'll say they're beginners. They're like, no, you need to have something established. And I'm like, no, if all you have is a vision, let's do this, like
Yeah.
come talk to me. And that's my favorite thing. Like I love when someone just shares a vision with me and then it's okay, now let's put a business model around this and a pricing strategy and a marketing strategy. Like that is my favorite thing, is getting to take someone's vision and just like really build it into a business.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's something that it really took me a while to figure out. And it was just from working with people, from having clients, from running my business. And I really believe that that's the best way to identify who your ideal client is. Because I remember in the beginning, getting these profiles to fill out and I was supposed to make up a person and just
Oh yeah.
thinking like, for like, how am I supposed to do that? I'm like, I'm supposed to just make someone up. And I've always like hated those exercises. And so when I have clients do, these ideal client profiles, what I actually have them do is I say, go find a real person that you would like to work with and build a profile around them because they're real. They're someone you could actually convert into a client. And I think the best way to learn is just to start working with people because that's how you're going to learn who you enjoy working with, what really resonates with you, and who you connect with.
I completely agree because I remember when I started my business, I thought I could serve everyone. And then as I started serving people and, working with them, I was like, oh my goodness, some people are like your
Yeah.
nightmare clients and you're like, never again. Like, I'm so
Yeah.
grateful they came in my life when they did, but they taught me this valuable lesson. And
Mhm.
from there, like what you said, like once I did identify my ideal customer, I like held on to her and I was like, okay, what does
Yeah.
she like to do? What does she like to eat? Where does she hang out? Where would she be on social
Yeah.
media?
Yeah. And always basing it on a real person.
Exactly. Now, what is your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
There's so many things, and every day I feel so grateful. But I think, and gosh, so many things come to mind. Maybe creating.
Mhm.
Like, I think really getting to create things is one of my favorite things about entrepreneurship. Whether it's helping someone create their dream, me creating my own dream. Just the fact that there's so much space for creativity. That's something that I really love to do, and it just really lights me up.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, what piece of advice would you give to a new female entrepreneur who is looking to leave their 9 to 5 and start their own business?
I would say get support as soon as possible. Like, I think that was the biggest lesson that I learned that took me 2 years to learn, and then looking back, I was like, I should have hired a coach right away. And I think, especially when you're working in corporate, like, you have the budget to hire a coach, because a lot of times there might not be the finances in your business yet, but it's an investment in your business. And I think that you have to just believe in yourself and believe in your business enough to get guidance and mentorship and support. So whether it's a mastermind or a coach, having that support is going to be helpful. And I think it's, really what you're doing is you're investing in yourself, and that's the best investment that you can make.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I think that if more people were to take that time to look at where it is they want to go and then look at who they can find to help them get there, the sky's the limit. And when you can skip over some of the steps that someone might have already gone through, it just saves you time. It saves you the headache. I don't know about you, but in entrepreneurship, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? How do I do this? If I could tell
Yeah.
somebody exactly, oh, this is how I overcame this. This is how I got here. It makes it easier.
Yes, yeah, it really does. It saves you a lot of time and money is what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Well, I am so grateful to have you on the Corporate Misfit podcast today, Natalia. You have been amazing, and I have enjoyed learning from you and learning more about how you left your 9 to 5 to build your own empire and do what it is that you do. So can you tell us how we can stay connected with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my favorite platform to be on is Instagram. So you can follow me on there at Natalia Crawford, or you can also visit my website, nataliacrawford.com.
Awesome. I'll make sure to link that for all of our listeners and also our viewers so that they can stay connected with you. And thank you again for your time and joining us on the Corporate Misfit podcast.
Of course, thank you for having me. I had a great time.
If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Corporate Misfit podcast, we invite you to check out the Corporate Misfit Club. The Corporate Misfit Club is the essential resource for female entrepreneurs who are looking to start or grow a business they actually love. Whether you are a seasoned entrepreneur in your startup phase or simply thinking about taking the leap into entrepreneurship, we've got your back, girl. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive members-only discount perks, and unlimited tools. We also have a supportive community of women where our members share stories, experiences, their wins, and business tips. The Corporate Misfit Club is the perfect place to be to start, launch, or grow a business. So check it out at corporatemisfitclub.com.